Am I the a-hole for exposing my best friend's lie that cost her the job and ruined her career? If I only would judge you according your title, I would say yes. But let's see, what's the context here? So, I, 28 female, need some advice because I honestly feel like I might have gone too far. But I can't shake the feeling that I did what I had to do. We're gonna see about that. Here's the backstory. I had been working my butt off for months applying, interviewing, and networking to land my dream job at a major tech company. It was the kind of opportunity I had been aiming for my entire career. The pay was great, the growth potential was huge, and honestly, it was everything I had worked for. Now, my best friend Jessie, 29 female, and I have been close for 10 years. We've been through everything together, and she knew how badly I wanted this role. I helped her with her own job search in the past and even gave her tips and advice when she was looking for new opportunities. So when I found out that she had applied for the same job, I wasn't worried. I thought, okay, may the best person win. I don't know, I find it a little weird to apply for the same role that's your best friend's dream job. Is that girl really your friend? But then, things started getting weird. Of course they did. We both got through the interview process, and after some really tough rounds, I got an offer. I was beyond excited. Congratulations, bestie. It felt like all my hard work was finally paying off, but Jessie's reactions was off. Of course it was. That girl is not your friend. Real friends, especially your best friend, is not competing with you. They are supporting you. Instead of being excited for me, she seemed distant, almost bitter. She kept making offhand comments like, I'm sure you'll be amazing at the job, but with a tone that felt cold, not supportive. She is showing you her true color. Pay attention. A couple of days later, I got an email from HR saying that they had decided to move forward with another candidate. But they'd keep me in mind for future openings. Didn't they made you an offer already? I was confused, but they assured me it was just a formality, like they were still considering me in case things changed. No big deal, right? Well, then I found out through a mutual friend that Jessie had actually gotten the job. I knew it. That girl is not your friend. Best case scenario, she's a frenemy. I felt completely blindsided. I mean, I knew we were both interviewing, but to hear she got it after everything I'd done to land it, it stung. Since when it's normal to offer a position to several candidates? I'm confused. I confronted her and she tried to play it off like it was nothing. Yeah, I got it, but I think I'm more qualified than you for this role, don't you think? She said, which already had me feeling some kind of way. She is definitely more qualified for being a But when I pressed her, it became clear that something was really off. I found out that during her final interview, Jessie had lied about me. She told the hiring manager things that were not only false, but deliberately intended to destroy my chances at the job. That is disgusting, but I cannot really understand why would the hiring manager believe her. You guys are competing for the same job. She said I had serious issues with authority, was known to undermine my colleagues, and that I had a toxic attitude and wasn't a team player. She also claimed I was constantly unhappy at my job and that I was planning on leaving soon anyway. None of this was true, not even a little bit. Jessie knew I loved my current job and I had always been a team player. She had to have made it all up just to make herself look better. I just find it very weird that a hiring manager would pick her after being so negative. Also, everything she says is basically gossip. Nobody can know if it's true or not. When I confronted her about it, she didn't apologize. She said, I did what I had to do. It's business. It's not personal. And that was it. I was furious, not just because of the lies, but because of the sheer audacity of it. She has a lot of that for sure. She used our friendship as a stepping stone, stabbed me in the back, and then tried to justify it as if it were no big deal. That's just so dumb though. Why did she assume that you would stay quiet and let this go? I knew I couldn't just let her get away with it, so I decided to reach out to the company. I didn't go into all the personal details about our friendship. But I did tell HR that there had been some misinformation shared during Jessie's interview about me. I provided evidence that disproved the claims she made, emails, performance reviews, and even testimony from colleagues who could vouch for me. It felt dirty. Honestly, I didn't want to get her fired or ruin her life. Girl, everybody would have done the same. And you are not the one who ruined her reputation, she did. I hope after all of this, you also fired her and you stopped being her friend. But I also knew that what she had done was wrong on a professional and personal level. The company needed to know the truth. I figured they'd just take note of the feedback and that would be the end of it. But then came the unexpected fallout. A few days later, I get an email from HR. They thanked me for the information, but here's the bombshell. They told me they had reversed their hiring decision because of the false statements Jessie had made about me. They said they had done an internal review of her interview and found that her claims were unsubstantiated and damaging to their hiring process, and that the hiring manager was an idiot. And that's when I found out that not only they had rescinded the job offer, but they had also decided to terminate her. It turned out that the company had a zero-tolerance policy for dishonesty in interviews and had flagged her as a liability. Why is this a bombshell? It's just normal protocol. She permanently damaged her reputation and proved she is not trustworthy. They said that in light of the evidence I provided, they could no longer justify hiring her. I was honestly shocked. I didn't expect things to escalate to that point. What do you mean? I would have been shocked if things wouldn't ended like this. But it didn't stop there. Jessie called me immediately after she found out. She was furious. She called me everything from a jealous, vindictive person to a backstabbing, petty liar. Don't mind that. She is just talking to the mirror. She screamed at me over the phone and told me I had ruined her career and that I would never be forgiven. She is just so delusional with full of audacity. But the worst part, she went around telling everyone that I had had her fired and that I was just salty about losing the job. She told her friends that I was a sore loser and I couldn't handle the competition trying to paint me as the villain. And while I can't deny I felt a little bit of satisfaction when I heard she'd been let go, the guilt started creeping in. Was I wrong for going to HR? Did I go too far? What? No, you're kidding, right? I didn't want her to lose her job, but I felt like I had to do something after she intentionally sabotaged me. Now, I'm wondering, am I the a-hole for exposing her lies? I feel like I did what I had to do, but part of me wonders if I could have handled it differently. No, you definitely had to do this. She was trying to ruin your professional reputation. All you did was defending yourself and let the companies know what's the truth. But again, the hiring manager who had the interview with her was an idiot as well. You cannot take rumors as facts from a candidate who's competing with another. Anyway, let's see the comments. She is a snake and got what she deserved. She's not your friend and you should stop worrying about what this petty woman thinks at all. Tell her, you did what you had to do. It's business, not personal. She's no friend. You can walk away with your head high. Not the a-hole. She lied and tried to ruin your reputation in that line of work. You told the truth and it ruined her lies. She's the one at fault, not you. Simple like that. You are definitely not the a-hole. Get rid of her as a friend and get new ones. Am I the a-hole for calling out my boyfriend's family for changing the sleeping arrangement rules to favor his brother and sister-in-law? Is sleeping arrangement really necessary for adults? 24 female, and my boyfriend Nathan, 26 male, have been together for 6 years. This year, we traveled to his parents' house for Thanksgiving. For context, Nathan is one of 4 brothers: Alex, single; Jack, married to Jill; Nathan, me; and Luke, married to Millie with a nearly 2-year-old. Everyone lives out of state except Luke and Millie. Nathan and I have the longest drive at 9 hours. Here's the issue. Nathan's parents, Mary and John, have only 2 guest bedrooms. 3 couples tend to visit at a time, meaning someone has to sleep on an air mattress in between the rooms. The first year I visited, I was told they'd rotate who gets the air mattress to keep it fair. But after 3 years on it, we were told it was now first come first serve. Wait a damn minute. There are no hotels in the area where your in-laws live? Why would be anyone okay with sleeping on an air mattress as an adult? Nathan's job doesn't allow much holiday time, so we are almost always last to arrive and stuck on the air mattress. While annoying, we understood, it seemed logical. It's not logical. Rent a hotel room. This year was different. Nathan and I got Monday through Thursday off and we would arrive first. I talked to Mary about how we were to finally get a bedroom and she laughed saying, "Yep, first come first serve." Millie, who I've grown close to, knew we were thrilled about the prospect of getting a bed this year. She even decided to come early too so we could hang out. And we planned I'd take the twin room and she'd take the queen. Here's where it gets frustrating. The day we left, I texted Mary our ETA. A few hours later, Millie texted me saying Luke had spoken with Mary, who mentioned Jack and Jill would get the queen room and Luke and Millie the twin room, leaving Nathan and me on the air mattress again. So what happened with the first come first served? Luke cut Mary out, reminding her of the first come first serve rule, but she suddenly claimed she never said that, and justified her decision because Jack and Jill would be staying an extra day. For context, Jack and Jill were arriving a day later than us, so this reasoning felt like an excuse. It's her house, her decision. It's clear that Nathan is her least favorite son. At the same time, it would be so easy to avoid this. Just go and rent a hotel room. And then next time, maybe you just won't come. When we arrived, Nathan brought up the rule again, but Mary got defensive, claimed she didn't remember ever saying it and refused to budge. But then, if you're going with the old rule, then it should be a rotation. Isn't you guys got the air mattress the last time again? I said several sarcastic comments as I felt this was really unfair. I pointed out rules are rules until they didn't serve Jill, and that we always do it a certain way until that means Jill has to take the air mattress. And she could come up with any justification, but that doesn't make it fair. I even pointed out it's silly for us to now have to board our dogs and drive 8 hours before anyone else got there just to change the rules now. She had plenty of time to bring this up with our many conversations leading up to this. She became increasingly sassy about the situation, leaving us feeling defeated and frankly a little targeted. Am I the a-hole for speaking up over thinking Mary unfairly changed the rules to suit Jack and Jill, and that we are always stuck with the short end of the stick? I don't think you are an a-hole, and I think what you're saying, you're right about how you feel. The circumstances shows that something more deep going on in the story. As I mentioned earlier, Nathan probably the least favorite son. And since it is her house, the rules doesn't really matter. She can override them whenever she wants to. You can argue about it, but it's not gonna change. Probably you guys are always gonna end up on the air mattress. What you can do about the situation is either to let them know that you're not gonna visit when there is a full house, or you can stay in a hotel room. I'm not saying that Mary is right. She is clearly an a-hole in the story, including your brother-in-law and sister-in-law. But unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles. Opie had an update, so we're probably gonna learn what happened next. Update. I feel like I may have let y'all down on this based on the advice, but here's how things went. Later, Monday night, Nathan spoke to his mom and we did get the bed for the one night before Jack and Jill arrived. Initially, it was only offered for us to move to the air mattress into the queen bedroom for the night, but Nathan pointed out that we were being made to sleep on an air mattress when a bed was readily available. Ouch. The next morning, Nathan had to run errands where we used to live before we moved. While he was gone, I washed the sheets and remade the bed, even though Luke and Millie told me I didn't have to wash them, just remake the bed. While everyone is in the family is very clean, Mary always insists on washing the sheets between visitors, so I did it out of respect for her preferences. That was really respectful of you. Millie and Luke even offered us to take their bed, but honestly, it wasn't just about the bed. It was about the promises that were made and then retracted despite these rules being in place for years. We get it, but is it worth it? It was also about the gaslighting and the fact that Mary didn't tell us ahead of time, even though there were so many chances to do so. As close friends to Luke and Millie, I didn't want to put them in the position of being uncomfortable on the air mattress either. While I never had a child myself, I know your body isn't the same afterward, especially your back. We ultimately agreed to move the air mattress into Luke and Millie's room since they had a heater and it gave us a little bit of privacy. We tried to make the most of the holidays and enjoy our time there despite everything. Later, Mary mentioned plans to get 2 pull-out couches, one for the area between the rooms and one for the twin bedroom. While this was thoughtful, it still didn't address the issue of changing the rules to suit others. Mary has already stated that we'll have a bedroom for Christmas, but if this promise is broken again, we won't stay at their house in the future. Nathan and I have decided that if we don't get a bed for Christmas, we'll stay in a hotel. So there are hotels around the area. It's baffling to me that you didn't come up with this conclusion earlier. Why would you stay on an air mattress if there are other accommodations available? We are still planning to go because it's Luke's and Millie's son's birthday. For Thanksgiving next year, if there isn't enough room, we are staying home. Yeah, that's the other solution. However, Nathan and I are currently planning on getting a house, and Luke and Millie suggested that once we do, we could host Thanksgiving there. They said they love to attend, which is exciting because Millie and I are both avid bakers and love cooking. Whenever Millie and I bring dishes to these gatherings, they are barely touched except by us and our partners. Yeah, the family definitely doesn't like you guys. It's fine, you just have to take a step back. We are also planning to visit Luke and Millie more often. Yeah, maybe you guys can spend the holidays together instead of spending the time at your mother-in-law's house. That could be a third solution. They are considering moving closer to the parents, and when they host holidays in the future, we always have a guaranteed place at their home. In my opinion, you are not the a-hole, but you cannot make your mother-in-law do whatever you want, even if it's unfair. I understand your point of view, but you need other solutions. For example, the hotel is perfect. But of course, you can always choose to die on this hill if you think it's important enough. Let's just read some comments. I'ma take a wild guess and say OOP's in-law don't like her. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Having to try this hard to be acknowledged and liked by in-laws is exhausting. For sure, if I would be OP, I would just stay home. I would have stayed the first night, then left. And that would have been a perfectly reasonable move. We are also gonna move on from this story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife to be less emotional when cooking? It's hard to be on your side after that title, but let's get into it. Earlier today, my wife texted me that she found a recipe in a magazine she was reading last week and that she wanted to try making it. She insisted on stopping by the store on her way home from work to buy the ingredients. Aw, that's so nice of her. This annoyed me because I had planned out the meals for the week, and I have previously requested that any deviation from the schedule be communicated to me at least 1 week in advance. Nonetheless, I let her try to cook. I only read one paragraph, but it's so clear that you're the biggest piece of today's video. When she got home, she got right to work, chopping vegetables, boiling water, etc. I work from home and I needed to finish a few things, so I left to her to cook in the kitchen. About an hour later, my wife came and got me. She led me in the kitchen and seemed very pleased with herself. It smelled and looked delicious, and she had even poured us glasses of red wine and lit some candles. From the first bite though, I knew that something had gone terribly wrong. She had made a chicken and noodle casserole and it tasted very salty, almost like pickles. I spat out my forkful and calmly but firmly asked her what she had done. I was struggling to get out the taste of my mouth. She walked up to the recipe and deciphered that she had added 1 tablespoon of salt instead of 1 teaspoon. So she made an everyday mistake. I told her that she was too excited about the recipe and that she let her emotions take over. Someone has to have emotions in this house for the both of you. You are a terrible human being, and I hope your wife's gonna divorce you as soon as possible. I reminded her that if she had controlled her emotions, she wouldn't have spat through the recipe and likely wouldn't have made such a silly mistake. My wife turned red and looked down at the floor. All she could muster was, I just wanted to do something nice. I got up from the table, scrapped the inedible food into the trash, and ordered a pizza. I hope you choked on it. At this point, I was in no mood to return to my original food schedule. When I was done ordering, I asked my wife how she would avoid doing such a thing when she cooked in the future. I hope she will never ever cook you anything ever again, and that she's gonna leave your ass by yesterday. My wife seemed angry about the question and said that I should just drop it. I refused. I told her that she had wasted our money on the ingredients only for us to throw her entire dish away. The only thing she should have thrown out was you. I asked her if she even cared how that made me feel, but she just shook her head and angrily stormed out of the room. You are a narcissistic piece of You don't deserve dinner. You don't even deserve a wife. I've been trying to get her out to speak to me for a few hours, but she just wants to pout. I hope she's being busy looking for divorce lawyers. I get so tired of her ridiculous behavior and I feel incredibly disrespected by her. You feel disrespected? Really? The way you are talking to your wife is not just disrespectful, it's borderline. I hope she's gonna drop your ass very fast. I guess she wants me to apologize, but I was the one who ultimately saved dinner. Am I the a-hole? You are the biggest I ever encountered on Reddit. You are not just a simple You should be on the Am I the Devil thread. I hope your wife's gonna divorce you and you're never gonna get a partner ever again. Anyway, let's see the comments because I'm getting too mad about this piece of LMAO, can be real. No one is this clueless, but just to play the game, you are the a-hole. Dear Lord, I hope this isn't real. If it is, you are the a-hole. Truckloads of here. You are the a-hole. Probably all the time, you are condescending and controlling. She needs to forget dinner and get a divorce. Very much so. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stories. If you did, please subscribe and see you in the next one.